All right, my friends, we are moving. Please step to your mat. Just shut my door in case my dog starts barking. We don't need to hear that. We're actually going to start in child's pose today. So just kneel down to your mat, one knee at a time. Have your toes somewhat together and your knees a little bit wider, and just sink back into your heels as low as you can. Let's take a nice three big belly breaths in the nose. All the way in the nose, all the way out the mouth or nose. Stretch your arms out in front of you. And I want you to just roll your hips and knees side to side. If you're not familiar with child's pose, this is a great way to just kind of figure out where your perfect little spot is. Let the knees, hips move. Get your feet as flat as you can. Really just sink your chest down into the mat. Stretch the arms out. Reach through your fingers. 2 more breaths. Here we go. Keep trying to get flatter. Pushing your chest into the floor. Sink your butt back into your heels and hips deep as you can. Stretch those arms out. Let's take 1 more breath in our first one. Good. Take a nice big breath in. You should have those arms straight out in front of you. Lift your head, chest. Bring your hips forward. Let's go right into Cobra. Scoot back just a little bit for you guys. Here we go. Head, chest high. Pull your shoulders back. I want you to put all your weight on your arms. If high cobra is too much for you, come down to your elbows for low cobra, whichever position works better for you. And I want you to start turning your shoulders side to side, head high, shoulders back. I want you to put all your weight on your arms. Let your legs hang loose and heavy. And we're just moving that spine around. Use your breath. Keep them going. Inhale as you turn. Exhale as you come back to the other side. Let's do 3 more on each side. Let those legs hang heavy. We got all the weight on the hands or forearms. And we're moving that spine around. You get a nice little stretch in the front of the hip too. If you really twist, turn your head, look back, keep those legs real straight. 1 more time on each side. Good. Child's pose. Feet together, knees a little wider. Works better for me. Find your spot. 3 breaths. Here we go. We're warming that spine up good. We're taking it nice and chill to start here. Getting flatter into the mat. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Sink back into those hips. 2 more breaths. Hips side to side if you like. Stretch the arms out. 1 more breath in our child's pose. Fold down. Here we go. Inhale, cobra, high or low. Bring the head, chest forward, up high. Hands or elbows under the shoulders. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Pull your shoulders back. Flex your hips gently into the mat. Squeeze your glutes in. Abs in tight. Here we go. Let's rotate. Turning those shoulders again. 1 more time. I don't always do 2 sets through sequences. We're going to start off with 2 of these guys. Keep them going. Turn the shoulders. Remember, all the weight's on the arms, and we are stretching the hip flexors, and we're just getting that low back and spine moving around. 2. Use the breath. 1 more time each. Okay, good. Come to table pose. One of my all-time favorite warm-ups, whether you're a yogi or whether you're a highly conditioned, high-intensity athlete, got to warm the spine up. We're going to go right into cat and cows. I always do cat and cows every day. I encourage you guys to do the same. Come to table pose. Quadruped. Got hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Cat and cow is all about flexion and extension through the spine. So you're going to tuck your chin, look at your belly button, draw your abs and stomach in and up as you round your shoulders. Arch your back as high as you can. Squeeze your glutes in. Press into the floor. On your breath when we go to cow. Lift the head up high. Arch the back down as low as you can, but keep your arms straight. And think about pulling your shoulder blades back. Really lift the head high. Here we go, guys. Up to cat on your breath. Really squeeze in and up. Release the cow. Keep trying to get higher and lower. Lift the head up nice and high. Stick your butt out, pull the shoulders back. Here we go, up to cat. I turn that music up just a little bit. I hope that's not gonna mess up my voice. Here we go, release the cow. I think The music's really important for this stuff. Let's do 2 more. Here we go. Up to cat. Really warm that spine up. Squeeze the glutes, reaching higher. Look at your belly button, round the shoulders. Good. Down to cow. Let's go through them one more time, guys. Here we go. Last cat. High as you can. Really tuck and reach. 3, 2, 1. Release to cow. Oh, perfect. Let's give the wrists a little break. Take your elbows down to the mat. So we're in table pose. All we do is take the elbows to the mat. I want you to put your hands together like you're giving some claps. Now, pull your hands behind your head and upper back as far as you can. We got the elbow out in front of the shoulders on the floor. And when you pull your hands back towards your upper back behind the head, I want you to push your chest towards the floor and think about dropping your butt back towards your heel. You should get a really great stretch through the triceps and lats where they insert behind the shoulder blade, right behind the armpit. Let's take 3 breaths. Put your knees wide if you need to. Make sure you feel really strong and steady in the legs. 2 more breaths. Push the chest down and think about pushing your butt back towards your feet without letting your elbows move. And kind of think about pulling your shoulder blades together. You'll get a little bit deeper into that stretch. 2 more breaths, just for good measure. Really good, stretching the lats and triceps, behind the arms, behind the shoulder and shoulder blade. 1 more breath. All right, great, we're getting there. All right, guys, downward facing dog. Step your feet back 1 at a time, taking it up a notch. Dive the head down, reach the feet out. Now make sure when you're in down dog, you shouldn't be killing your arms. You should have 80 to 90% of your weight on your legs. Dive the head down, push your chest towards the floor, open up your hands really wide, reach out through the fingers. It's okay if your heels are up, just means you're really tight in your posterior. That's good. It's good to do this stuff. Got to stretch the hamstrings. 3 breaths. If you're really tall and have tight hamstrings, you can put your feet out nice and wide. Like me, I like to take a little bit of a wider stance with my down dog. Find your spot. Reaching out through the arms, big stretch, really stretching the hamstrings, low back. We're lengthening the spine. See if you can get your arms in line with at least your ears. If not, diving the head down even more. 2 more breaths. And of course, recover anytime. We're gonna go to child's pose after this. 1 more big breath in your down dog. Walk the hands forward so you're nice and flat. Bring the feet in about hip width. Draw your core in tight. Chaturanga. Slowly hover the knees to the floor. Then your stomach, push high into cobra. That's what I call a pinch of vinyasa, just a pinch. Reach the head, chest up, pull the shoulders back, abs in tight. Squeeze your glutes in, stretch out that low back and your abdomen. Good, let's take it to our child's pose. Sink back, let's give the arms a break. Let's go to frog. Put the toes together, put your knees out as wide as you can. Toes touching together, knees as wide as you can, take them very slowly. Push your butt back. Now let's fold. Nice stretch, inner thighs, adductors, deep inner hip into the groin area, really opening up the hips a little bit. We're gonna start working on the hips in a bit. 3 breaths, getting flatter with each exhale. Always stretch your arms out in front of you. Really bring that chest into your mat. 2 breaths. Every flow is different. I do this every day almost. It's an adventure, exploring how the body feels, getting all those adjustments out. Let's take 1 more breath into your frog stretch. Okay, let's come to table pose. Wanted to give the wrists, shoulders a little break there. One note that I forgot to mention at the beginning of class, we spend a lot of time on the knees. I do a lot of sequences from table pose. I encourage you, if you're not on carpet, get a second mat, get a towel, get something to put under your mat to give you some cushion, because it's really not good for the knees to kneel on hard surfaces for long periods of time or over extended periods of time. Here's our Next exercise, keep your right knee bent at 90. We're going to go into what I call a cow kick. So you're gonna lift your head up and you're gonna kick to the ceiling, push through the heel, squeeze your glute, abs are in tight always. As you bring your knee to your chest, keep it bent at 90. You're gonna draw your abs in and round your shoulders as if you're going into cat. Squeeze the abs, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the knee bent at 90, lift the head high, kick your heel straight towards the ceiling and squeeze your glute, 3, 2, 1. On your breath, cat, and bring the knee to the chest. They also call this frozen wolf, this pose. Squeeze, 2, 1. Inhale. Lift the head high as you kick to the ceiling. Squeeze your glute, 2, 1. To frozen wolf. Squeeze the abs in as you bring the knee into your chest. Strong in the core, 2, 1. On your breath, lift the head high, kick. Squeeze the abs in, 3, 2, 1. Last one, here we go. One more kick and knee. Bring the knee into the abs, squeeze, 3, 2, 1 more time through. Last kick. Big lift, push, push, push. Squeeze the backside, lift the head high, and release. Frozen wolf, bring the knee into your chest, squeeze the abs. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Pigeon. Should have just been using your right leg. Step the left leg back straight. Cross the right leg under your stomach as best as you can. If you're not familiar with pigeon, this is a little bit of a tricky position to get into. So all I did was cross that right leg under my stomach. The more parallel your shin bone is to the top edge of your mat, the bigger the stretch you're gonna get. Don't roll to your side. Your outer glute hip of that right leg crossed under should still be a little bit off the floor. And then we're gonna slide that left leg straight back, as straight as you can get it. Once you've done so, if you feel able, fold to your mat. 3 breaths. Nothing past an 8 of discomfort. So anytime we go into a stretch or a pose, nothing past an 8 of discomfort. Never pain, mild to moderate discomfort is what we should experience when we properly stretch. 2 more breaths. Keep trying to get flatter. Keep trying to slide that back leg straighter and straighter. Really great stretch. Posterior hip. We're stretching the glutes, piriformis, all the abductor muscles in the back of this right hip of the right leg that we have crossed under. Take 1 more breath. Excellent. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Bring your chest up tall, slowly. Put your weight on your arms. Bring your back left knee off the floor. Uncross the right leg back to full prone plank position. Draw the abs in tight. Very slowly, chaturanga. Let the knees come down softly, then the stomach. Push high into cobra or go to low cobra for a few quick breaths here. Abs in. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Pull the shoulders back. Abs are in tight. Squeeze your glutes as you flex your hips into the floor. 1 more breath. Okay, table pose. Same sequence, left leg. Keep the knee bent at 90. This is really important for activating the glutes. We're activating the glutes as we stretch. We're also working the abs a little bit. Here we go. Head high, push the heel to the ceiling, squeeze your backside. 2, 1. On your breath, bring the knee to your chest. Round your shoulders, draw your abs in tight squeeze. 2, 1. On your breath, kick. Trying to get higher each time with the foot and the head. Good. Frozen wolf, knee to the chest. Squeeze the abs. 3, 2, 1. Release. Big kick. Head high. Squeeze your backside. 3, 2, 1. Frozen wolf. 2, 1. Glute kick or hip extension. Head high. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We got 2 more before we go to pigeon. Knee to the chest. Squeeze the abs. 3, 2, 1. Release to cow. Every inch is with purpose. Stay fluid. Here we go. Use your breath. Knee to the abs. Squeeze them in. 3, 2. We got 1 more of each, guys. Here we go. Last kick. Push as high as you can through the heel. Squeeze. 2, 1, and last knee to the chest, squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. Great. Stretch your right leg back straight. Make room, put your weight on your hands, cross that left leg under the pigeon. So call this figure 4. So remember, don't roll to your side. You want to stay center, square over your shin. Slide the right leg back as straight as you can. That's going to take you deeper into the stretch. If you feel capable, if it works within your mobility level, range of motion, fold down into your mat. And let's take our classic 3 breaths past it. Nice, long, deep belly breaths. You get no benefit, well, I shouldn't say none. You don't really get much benefit of a stretch until you've held it for at least 20 to 30 seconds. So I like to take a few breaths into some of these deeper stretches, especially when we get into the hips. All those ligaments in the hips, very dense, very tight, very fibrous. They don't stretch easily. On your exhales, we work through the sticking points, folding deeper. Play around with these positions too. You can kind of roll the hips around. Feel that stretch move around. Get familiar with these stretches. Let's take one more breath to it. All right, sit yourself up nice and tall. We're not going to do any more chaturangas. I'm going to ask you to just come to table pose any way you can. Just bring the knees under the hips. Sit yourself up tall. Hero pose. We're going to stretch the hip flexor. So we just did a little sequence where we stretched and activated the back of the hips, the glutes, piriformis, all those abductors. Now we need to take care of the front of the hips. Bring your left leg forward first. Get a better view if we start on this side. So bring your left leg out in front of you. We're in forward low lunge position. Head, chest up high. And I want you to lean your hips forward. You can take the hands to your knee, thigh. You can keep them to your sides. Whatever feels right for you. We're going to just give the shoulders a break. Make sure you have your head, chest up really high. Pull the shoulders back. We want to lengthen the abdomen because the hip flexors connect up in the thoracic spine, up into the mid-abdomen. If you drop your chest down like this, you're going to shorten the top portion of your hip flexors. Not going to get as good of a stretch. We always want to lengthen a muscle as much as we can before we start to try to stretch it. Let's take 2 more breaths. We're going to add in a little twist with this. 1 more breath. Take your right hand to the floor, right under your chest. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, bring that left arm up. Palm forward, reach behind you. Still leaning the hips down and forward. Try to keep the arms somewhat in line. And on our exhales, we are rotating, reaching back a little bit further. Here we go, 2 more breaths. Good little hip opener. Pretend like there's a wall behind you, and as you twist and reach behind you to your left, you're trying to get your back as flat as you can on that imaginary wall. Let's take 1 more breath, and we gotta stretch the hamstrings. Great, bring that left arm down to join your right. Very slowly, just push yourself back so you can extend that left leg straight. Lock the knee, flex the toes. Take the hands down the leg slowly until you hit your sticking point, fold to your knee. Take your nose towards your knee. If you can take the hands to the floor, go ahead and do so, or you can stay up here on the leg. Make sure you feel steady and strong to fold toward your knee. 3 breaths. Keep the knee straight. Keep flexing the toes towards you. Like I just got done explaining, you always want to lengthen a muscle fully before you start to stretch it. You can't stretch a shortened muscle. You're not going to get the entire muscle. 2 more breaths. On your exhales, working towards the knee. And again, we spend a lot of time on the knees. Please make yourself comfortable. If this kneeling is too much, modify as needed. Roll your mat up. 1 more breath. Folding to that knee. Can you get your nose to your knee? Ooh, it's a big one. Big hamstring stretch. Bring yourself up slowly. Push yourself forward. So your foot is flat, knee is bent. Take the hands under the chest, draw your left leg back, sit up tall, hero pose. Any way you can make that transition's fine. Bring your right leg forward for forward low lunge. Head, chest up. Make sure you have a pretty good angle at that knee, because you don't want your toes pushing over your knee too much. A little bit's not a big deal in this particular exercise, but you want to make sure your foot stays flat. You want to feel strong in the legs. Here we go. Lean your hips forward, keeping the head, chest tall. 3 breaths. We'll add in that twist, kind of a reverse triangle. Little twist in our forward low lunge. 2 more breaths. Great stretch. Front of the hip of that back left leg down into the quads. All the muscles that flex the hip. 1 more breath. Reach your head a little taller. Pull your shoulders back a little more. Lean your hips a little further down and forward. Take the left hand to the floor. Wherever you feel strong and comfortable, take a breath in. On your exhale, reach behind you with your right arm. And again, the arms don't have to be perfectly in line, but you want them somewhat in line. Palm forward. If you're able to, turn your head, look up your arm as you reach up through your fingers and back behind you. 2 more breaths. Boy, I just looked at the time. I feel like I had like 20 more sequences planned with you guys, and we're already getting towards the end here. 1 more breath. Reach up and back a little higher. Keep leaning those hips forward. Keep that knee pulled in. Good. Take the hands down under your chest. Let your right hand join your left. Draw your right leg back, child's pose. Let's just restore. Let's recharge. Let's recover. Let's take the energy all the way back down. 3 belly breaths, and we're going to move on to our last little section. Sink to your heels. Hopefully getting deeper and deeper as we get more and more stretched out here. Things are moving around back to where they're supposed to be. Told you, maintenance on the body. We're changing the oil right now, the filters. Getting lots of oxygen. Oxygen saturation goes up dramatically when you stretch. Get blood flowing really good. 1 more breath. All right, guys, sit yourself up, and I'm going to ask you to just have a seat on your butt. You can just swing your legs out in front of you. However, you can get seated. Quick little towel wipe. So this studio that I'm in, I call it a studio. This is my garage. I live in Southwest Florida. We're in some cooler temperatures this morning, 70s. And I got a couple fans in here, but it definitely gets a little warm sometimes. We're going to start in what I call a sprinkler. It's a variation of a seated hip twist. Take your right leg up off the floor. And if you need to, for now, you can kind of hang on to it with both hands so you're not killing your hip flexors. So we have the right leg up off the floor. You're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right leg, like so. So left hand to the outer right side of your right leg. You're going to grab on firmly to your calf somewhere as low as you can below the knee, keeping the leg straight. We're going to stretch the IT band and biceps femoris, which is the big hamstring muscle on the outer back side of your thigh. It's the main hamstring that gets tight, that gets overactive, very common. Sit up really tall. Here's my right hand. You're going to twist and reach behind you to the right as you pull your right leg to the left. So we're kind of countering the stretch here. We got 2 different actions going. Sit up tall. On those exhales, you're going to twist and reach behind you a little bit more as you pull that left leg over as far as you can, or anchor it. 3 more breaths. Make sure you stay sitting up nice and tall. Always good practice. Just think about reaching the crown of your head to the ceiling as we go through these types of exercises. Use those breaths. Let's do 1 more. Okay, great. Come back to the center. Let that right leg drop. I'm sure those hip flexors are getting a little work there. Let's go right to the other side. Bring the left leg up. Grab to the outside, out left side of your left leg with your right hand. Here we go. Twist to your left. Head, chest tall. Arm is parallel to the ground. Palm is forward. We're twisting a little bit more on our exhales. Let's take 3 more. Excellent. 2 more. We're going to start winding down soon here. I always do a nice little final cool down. 1 more breath. Twist and reach a little further on the exhale. Okay, come back to your center. Let that leg come down. Make sure you have room behind you. We're going to lay down flat. If you can unroll the back down 1 vertebrae at a time using your abs, do so. Or go to your side if you know your back doesn't like that. Get flat any way you can. Right away, very often, I start off in good morning stretch or good morning pose, I call it. Reach your arms behind you. The goal is to get as long as you can. So we're reaching back through the fingers. We're reaching down through the toes. We're getting every inch of our body as long as you can. Really open the spine up. Abs are in tight. 3 breaths. Reaching further on each exhale. 2 more breaths. Reach, reach, reach. 1 more time, pulling away from the center of the body. Good. Bring the knees to your chest 1 at a time. Hug them down as firmly as you can with your arms. Massage the back and spine side to side. 3 breaths. Make sure you're hugging those knees firm enough that your tailbone lifts up a little bit, really unloading the spine, low back as we massage it a little bit. 2 more breaths. We're going to do 1 more stretch, and then we're going to go into our final cool down, a little Shavasana practice to finish. Single lying hip twist. Take your left leg down straight to the floor. This is one of my personal faves. I very often put it in towards the end of my stretch flows. Keep your right knee bent at 90 over the hip. Take the left hand to the outside of that right knee and put your right arm straight out to your side with your palm up. Then you're just going to use that left hand to take that knee over towards the floor to the opposite side. So we got the right leg up going over to the left side. Make sure your shoulders do not lift. That right shoulder needs to stay down. 3 breaths. Another great posterior hip stretch, low back stretch, erectors, glutes, piriformis, all the big powerhouse muscles that we tend to have issues with. 1 more breath in your single lying hip twist. On your exhales, work that knee over a little bit more. No adjustment today. I usually get an adjustment on this one. Okay, come back to center. Bring your left knee up, extend the right leg down straight. Follow the same steps, just going right to the other side. Left arm out to your side. Keep the knee bent at 90 degrees. This will focus the stretch on the back of the hip as opposed to the IT band or big biceps femoris hamstring. Here we go. Take it over slow. Each side of the body's different. Each day is different. 3 breaths past your sticking point. Crushing my microphone pack. There we go. 2 more breaths. Oh, there's that adjustment I was looking for. Let's take 1 more breath into your single lying hip twist. Oh, perfect. Love that one. Come back to the center. Bring both knees into the chest. 1 more time. 1 final big cradle. Hug them down. Squeeze the abs in. Make sure your tailbone lifts and then extend your legs down straight. 1 at a time. Corpse pose, a little Shavasana breathing. Once again, I wiggled my way almost off of my mat. Toes pointing out, heels facing in. Relax your arms to your sides with your palms up, wherever is the most comfortable. We're going to take 5 nice, long, deep belly breaths, just restoring, getting lots of oxygen back in the body. Make sure you're as comfortable as you can. Close your eyes. Here we go. Big breath in the nose, all the way out the mouth or nose. Keep them going. 4 more, as long, as deep as you can. 3 more. Let your body get heavy. 2 2 big, deep belly breaths. Get lots of oxygen back in. One more big belly breath, guys. All the way in the nose. And all the way out, every bit of air. Once you let all that air out, bring your arms behind you one more time. Stretch it out. Good morning stretch. Reach through your fingers. Reach down through your toes. Stretch the whole body out. And if you can roll up, do a roll up or sit yourself up any way you can. And let's go right into a forward spine stretch. Legs straight, lock the knees, reach to the toes, fold to the knees. 3 breaths. Here we go. Reaching out through the arms and fingers, folding to the knees. 2 more breaths. Big forward spine stretch, seated forward fold. They also call it stretching the hamstrings and low back. One more time. Let's take one more breath. Reaching out through the arms, folding to the knees gently. Oh, great. Drag the arms back, sit yourself up. And I think that is where we're going to finish our flow today, guys. Let me come pause our recording in case you want to do that in future. And I so much appreciate you all starting your day off with me. I hope you enjoyed that.